Okay, so let's try and figure this out real quick. I pulled into the dump station down here. Very nice, clean dump station just north of Vancouver, Washington on I-5 southbound. Anyway, I pulled in here and I took the truck out of gear, and I'm idling at like 15 or 1800 RPM. So I'm going to start the engine up here in a second and see if I can figure out what's wrong. I'm not getting any kind of an engine light, but I did just empty the black and gray tank. So everything's all nice and neat put away. And the best thing of all is I made myself a nice cup of Taster's Choice coffee. Okay, let's fire this up, see what happens. Well, that's interesting. Now we're back to normal. Let's push the throttle here. Okay, well, everything looks golden. I think there is a possibility that it may have been that the cruise control might have been stuck in the on position. So this pipe here is notorious for popping off. And if you follow it around, you see that baffle, directional valve, I think it is, and it goes into the back of the intake manifold. That has popped off on several occasions, and then the engine is given away too much air, and it won't pile. And so this here is another little fix issue I have. I need to, you see I've got some coolant here, but my radiator broke right through here, cracked, and so what I did is I took some black RTV silicone, and then I took a piece of some fiberglass tape. Not really tape, but it was a fiberglass mesh for doing Gecko deck flooring, and you could also use it for doing epoxy work. But anyway, I need to get a new radiator here before too much longer. There's my fuse. That's another project I need to take care of. Is I've got a 30 amp fuse here on these 4-gauge wires that go to the solenoid here, and that solenoid is the brake for charging the truck camper batteries. So what I'm going to do is replace this. That is a constant duty solenoid, and I'm going to replace it with a smart solenoid that comes on with better voltage management. But what I did do, and pay attention to this if you're trying to get power to your truck camper from a Ford. Okay, so this little side fuse box here, that comes in a lot of the Fords, pre 2003 and older. I don't know if it's in the newer after 2003, but this one is for the I think it's for the trailer brakes, and the other one is for the power wire on your 7-pin plug on the bumper. So what I've done is I have spliced into the wires here so that when I turn the key on and the 7-pin cord activates, this also activates. So I have both of my solenoids functioning at the same time. This one's getting a little rust on it, and I know that might be heat there. But anyway, one of the problems is that this is a 30 amp fuse, and this, it can be good or bad. It's kind of like a current limiting device because it is a choke in the wire, and it's going to limit you to 30 amps. So if you have batteries that can accept a much higher charge rate, you would be better off to put a large fuse in there. This thing here has worked fine all of these years, and if you do have a charge wire going to your batteries, you can experiment like this. I have 2 Group 31 batteries back there charging, and they can at times take a pretty good charge, but they have only blown this fuse one time. And if you have a larger battery bank, then you would probably need a larger fuse, because the more batteries you have that need to be charged, the more current that's going to flow. And either this is going to be a big restriction on that current, or it's going to blow more frequently. Excuse me. So, well, anyway, it looks like the truck is running fine now. So let me put my cover back on. And let's get going again. Got my other thing here. Since the radiator is cracked, I need to just leave the radiator cap on loose. So I've got about 3 hours of driving, and you can see that the fluid level is still up all the way. So I have not lost any fluid, and the engine has kicked down from overdrive into into third, and even second on a couple of times, causing the engine to wind up to 4,000 or 4,500 RPM. And usually when that happens, then I will lose water out the cap from just RPM and the water pump putting out a lot of pressure, flow. And this here, this is another breaker that feeds an auxiliary fuse panel inside the cab. That powers up the stereo, the alarm, and other things. And that is a 50 amp. No, that's 120 amp. I should actually change that, because these are only 8 gauge wires, so that is way over. That's like having no protection on the wire. And the other thing I've got here too is a couple years ago I soldered up these battery cables, and they still look just like when I did it. So whenever you solder battery cables or any kind of a cable, if you want a really good, durable, long-lasting connection, you get the proper crimp connector, and then you crimp it, and then you solder it. And you also want to clean and flux the wires first. Alright, so we are going to get back on the road now. Got the tank dumped. I already had the water filled, I just didn't have anywhere to dump the tank earlier. And I pulled into the first rest stop up by Olympia, and they don't have a dump station there. Okay. So we are good to go now. Let me put my step away. Open. And you can see the camper there. I still have to stop at Fred Meyer's and get a bunch of groceries. Gotta have enough to last me a couple of weeks. Fun and more fun. Okay? Alright. So I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little tidbit. Fixing the truck camper, or actually fixing the truck 101. It didn't even end up being a class because the truck kind of got itself back together. Okay, we are on the road. One more thing I'll say is Kelly got me this really awesome coffee cup. What do they call this? It is a corksicle. Is that what it was? I thought it was something else. I thought it was crucible. No, corksicle. But really nice cup. It keeps the coffee or beverage warm or cold for hours. And I do mean hours. I made myself a mocha, Taster's Choice Hershey's Cocoa Mocha with brown sugar. The problem is I don't have any creamer, so I'm just going to drink it with coffee and cocoa and brown sugar. But it's actually pretty good. You don't need to have the sugar. Or not the sugar, you gotta have the sugar with cocoa. It's the milk or creamer, you don't have to have it. It still tastes good. Okay, watch the lips. It's still hot too. Alright, let's hit the road. Okay, so I've been sitting here for a few minutes and so I put the truck in gear and now it's got an idle or a park, but you see the RPM is coming up, and if I tap the gas pedal it goes up. So I have a feeling what it is let's put in gear to drop the idle speed down a little bit, and let me walk over here to the engine compartment. What I think it is you see the cylinder there with the orange hose or red hoses in front of it. That I believe is the idle air control valve, and it's probably taking a poop on me. So that, I think, is my problem right there. Let me get out a little shillelagh here and see if a whack will help. Need something that I can get in there. That might do it. Excuse me. got tools. I think what it is my idle air valve is on the fritz. If I put it in gear, I don't know why all of a sudden got hoarse, but yeah, if I put it in gear, it'll go down to 800 RPM, and then if I put her in park again and tap the pedal, it'll go back up to 15 or 1800. So that's probably what it is. It's just that idle air valve, and you know, I'm heading over to Camas here, so I think what I'll do is spend the night there and get up to NAPA in the morning.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I saw you with the hood up, so I figured I'd come over.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. The see, selling Bentley right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks for checking though.
Yeah, no problem.
You bet. There just happened to be a tow truck driver there, and he came over to see if he could offer a little help. That was nice of him. It may or may not have cost me a few dollars, but that's okay. So that's what I'm gonna do. Camp over at Fred Meyer's and get a new idle air valve in the morning, and it's a hard reach in there, but you know, this is what happens. You know, you have a vehicle, it's a 2000 model year F-250, and stuff goes on it, and you have to be prepared to be able to fix things. And it's best of all if you yourself know how to fix things. Now, it is kind of funny, I don't have any kind of a code coming off. I should have a code, or you would think that I would have a code, and I've got my code reader here, but without the engine check light on, it's not going to tell me anything useful. So anyway, okay, let's head over to Fred Meyer's and I guess hang out there for the night and get parts in the morning. All right, good night.
What's the wrong one? Uh-oh. Knocked it off. Here, stop. Let me start it again. No, don't start it yet. Oh.
Where's the kitty? It's funny, he likes wearing it.
He's not in any hurry to get it off his head, now that he can see through it. Peekaboo! Gonna get you. It's gonna get you. Hello, is anybody home?
Reggie. Where's the kitty? Where's the kitty? There he is. There's the kitty.
Peekaboo. Peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Oh, he might just be getting tired. I'm bored with this game.
But he's not making any attempt.
So there you see the...
Dirt.
Yeah. So I've already gotten a bunch of it out, but if you get a piece of like 3/4 inch or 1 inch long PEX, 2 feet long, you can stick it in here and seal it with your hand like that, and then jam down in there and vacuum out all that dirt.
Okay.
Now the other thing too is you see how this white ring comes down, and it's not actually
connected to the pipe.
Sealed, and it's also there. And so what you want to do would be to like get some mortar and seal up everything around in there to keep the dirt from going in there anymore. Yeah, it's too bad they didn't.
Weird.
I mean, it might. You know, it wouldn't be possible to get a, another angle piece in there to direct it more upward. But anyway, so anyway, there you see your drain here. It's draining, but it's not going into the drain system. It's going into the dirt around it.
Gotcha. Okay.